Welcome to the second month of the Nuggets podcast. This month's topic is Florida's responsible, the issue of school, and what we can do to help. This episode, I am joined by William Vess, a rising senior at Pineview School and whose mother is also a teacher at Pineview School. Jonathan Allen, another rising senior who is concerned about schools reopening and what the plan is. And Angela Ung, another rising senior and a worker at Starbucks who will share her experiences with some interesting coworkers with us. Before we begin, I'd like to share a quick message with you, the listener. All the interviews you're about to hear were conducted around 2 weeks ago, and during that time, Florida had just hit 200,000 confirmed cases. Now, a little over 2 weeks later, Florida has hit almost 400,000 cases, nearly doubled in the 2 weeks since I've recorded this. The nation has hit nearly 4 million cases as well during the same time period. And yet there's still no mask mandate from the governor or from our president. I will warn you that in this episode, there are many political themes that will be involved, which is unfortunately a byproduct of the entanglement between the coronavirus and current politics. Though as unfortunate it may be that there are greater powers not taking action or doing too little, we must recognize that the greatest deterrence towards this virus and any other issue that we face is within ourselves. And it is our personal duty as our brothers and sisters keepers to make sure we are following the proper guidelines to keep us and those around us safe. And if we follow those guidelines, such as wearing a mask, not going out when it's unnecessary, washing our hands, and taking the right precautions, we will be able to overcome this together. So don't lose hope, and let's keep doing our best. With that being said, I'm your host, Brian Zhang, and welcome to the show. And boom, we're live. How are you doing today, William Vest?
I am doing great, Mr. Zhang. I'm very excited about our conversation today. I'm very excited about getting to talk to you. I always enjoy getting to talk to you. Excited, and I am excited about being a part of your podcast. I think
Oh,
it's
yes.
a very
Thank
cool
you.
thing.
Thank you. I'm very excited as well to talk to you, Will. So, you know what? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Let me go ahead and paint a
Sounds good to me.
scene. Let me paint a scene for you. So, today is what? Sorry.
13.
Today is July 13th, 2020. Florida is currently known as the world epicenter of coronavirus based off a daily news report yesterday.
Wow.
Cases are over 200,000 currently in Florida. Percent positive for children in Sarasota specifically is 28%, and the overall positive rate is about 14%. So, with all that being said, and I know that your mom's a teacher, so I'm curious, what you guys have talked about as well. How do you feel about school opening, and how should it happen?
Um, I heard. I think I heard someone telling me. I can't remember who was telling me. It might have been someone at work, or just talking to someone. Didn't the Secretary of Education for Florida a few days ago say that no matter what, schools will be reopening in August?
Yeah,
Did you hear anything about that?
so that happened last week actually. So last week there was like an executive order from the health board, I believe, and they were like, "You schools in Florida have to open." And then and this week, well, a few days ago, Trump was like, not just public school, not just like high schools, but also colleges must reopen in August.
Which is an interesting thing because I actually heard something that some college, this is a little bit off topic, but I heard what some colleges are going to do is once you get in, they're closing the campus until like Thanksgiving break.
Oh.
So you just won't, no one will be able to leave or enter, which is, it'd be interesting how that would
Hmm.
work.
Yeah.
Um, but on the topic of schools reopening and everything, I get it. I get that schools need to reopen because like we get to a point I think eventually where life's got to go on.
Hmm.
You can't put everything on pause forever. But I mean, there's so many things like what are they gonna? Because if one kid in the class gets tested positive for COVID, doesn't that mean all the other kids in the class and the teacher has to be quarantined for 2 weeks.
Mm,
So there's like so many logistical things. I just wonder how they're gonna handle that.
yeah. So, yeah, I see that point a lot. Like, basically, if one person is positive, everyone in that room, you can like assume they're positive because it just like
Yeah.
spreads so quickly. How does your mom feel about it actually? Because I know your mom teaches like younger kids.
Well, my mom, I mean, definitely, my mom's a hardworking woman. She wants to get back to work. She wants to do her job, and I mean, there's all a very significant element of like the remote learning. Definitely. Oh, this is my opinion, not my mom's, but the remote learning. I think, I mean, for the young kids, they need to be in a classroom, staying focused and
Mm,
learning, which I don't think is maybe accomplished as well as remote learning. So I know my mom wants to get back to work and get back to doing her job and get back in there, but at the same time, I mean, how does it work with like stuff like with paid leave for sick days and all that? How would that work with Corona and stuff
yeah,
like that?
yeah,
Because like if a teacher doesn't have any more sick days left and then they're told they have to be quarantined for 2 weeks because of Corona, what are they going to do? I don't know. I know that there's talk about like they want to be as prepared as possible because like what if schools do reopen and we go back for a month, numbers soar even higher, so then they send us all back home again, just like that happened back in March of spring break.
yeah. And it's crazy. Like when schools closed, we were at such a lower level of cases than we are now because there's no plan right now for school, at least here.
Well, I
I've heard.
know I heard my mother was watching the school board meeting last week, I think. So I sat down with her for a little while and was watching it with her.
Hmm.
I mean, I think there was some stuff I saw like they were trying to take surveys to see like parents whether they want to have their kids going back, whether they want to do remote learning, whether they want to do some mix of both and
Oh
all
yeah,
that. And then there's also interesting elements. I think, there's the public schools, which are part of Sarasota County, but then there's also like the charter schools, like SMA. So, SMA doesn't have to follow what the public schools do.
yeah. SMA and
But
ODA. The private schools in
ODA
general
too,
can
yeah.
just do whatever they want.
I think we were supposed to be going back August 10th before
Yeah,
everything happened. I don't know what day they have. It's crazy to think that we could be going back to school in a month though, after having
it
such a long
is.
break.
It
It's gonna
is.
be so hard to get back to the grind.
Yeah, back on the grind. Well, yeah, it's weird for like us high schoolers because we've already done remote learning, and I think for the most part it was okay. At least my experience was okay. How would you rate your
Yeah,
experience?
I didn't mind it. I mean, I miss the social aspect of being in a classroom with my friends.
Yeah,
I felt, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, my grades were better doing remote learning than they
I
were doing
yes,
learning in
yes,
person.
I agree. I'm gonna be honest
So
with
that
you.
was definitely a plus.
Yeah, like online schooling is the only reason I was able to end the year with a B in chemistry. I'm gonna be honest.
I got a C first, second, and third quarter in AP Physics, but
Mm.
I got an A last quarter.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that was actually the clutch for me because it was like for
which, as
me,
happy as I am about
you
it,
know,
what does that say about remote learning? Like, I mean, if
yeah, yeah,
the
because the quality of it is like questionable.
you and I, we sat there for our Zoom meetings and listened like we were supposed to. But
Yeah,
I know plenty of people that would get on Zoom, they would turn off their camera, mute themselves, and then just go do whatever they wanted, and they'd get credit
yeah,
for attendance still.
yeah. It's weird, and it's like it's also just like a complicated time in general because I think right now with school, it's hard to balance. I know like a lot of teachers, there was a lot of like debate between students and teachers back when remote learning first started, but I think it still applies now if we go back. It's that like how lenient can you be towards education when like a pandemic is going on?
Which, my first thought is exactly how lenient can you be because the pandemic is gone, like you just said. But then you start thinking about if you're not folk because it's those younger kids, if they're not getting the education they need now, how's it going to impact them later on? Like,
Mm,
I'm really curious to see after this year, to see the differences in, like, it's different for us, I feel, as juniors going into our senior year, where our classes are subjects and stuff like that. But for like a third grader going from third to fourth grade, where they're still working on basic skills like I don't know, multiplication facts, stuff. That's just a random topic, but stuff
Yeah.
like that. How was the remote learning going to affect them
Yeah, I'm not sure because like I don't know what they did during the remote learning period for like those young kids.
for elementary?
I'm gonna assume they still did remote learning. And
I heard my little sister was in fifth grade, and
yeah.
I would hear her on her Zoom meetings in the morning,
Oh,
and
okay. Okay.
it was, and I don't know, it
Unfocused.
was to tell you the truth, watching it. Well, it was the Zoom meetings were unfocused because I mean, you can't blame the teacher for that. I mean, it's what 29-year-olds that just all unmuting and muting themselves and speaking and messing with Zoom.
Yeah.
And other than that, really all she did was like I ready. That's
I ready. Oh
I don't
my
know.
God. Yeah. It's like it's really important, like, especially for those young kids, just to like be able to interact with things. Like ABC Mouse.
Yeah, I remember the commercials.
Yeah, like I like ideally I think it'd be nice if there was some sort of like ABC Mouse more interactive experience for those younger kids so they can actually like and be engaged. You know what I mean? I think it's easier for us because like we're older, so we can just like sit there and like deal with it really.
We can sit there and read notes because that's what we know we have to do. But for the
Yeah.
younger kids, I mean, they need something probably to hold on to their attention more. I mean, it's hard enough in the classroom being at their home where if there's not a if there's the biggest element of why people have to go back to school truly, people
Why?
need to go back to work. As long as kids are staying home, there's so many people that can't work.
That's very true. Yeah. So, like schools are so crucial also just to open up the economy as a whole. But it's also stressful for
Definitely.
people who their parents have like lost their jobs and whatnot. And just to like go back to school, it's like so stressful on them already.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's just a
definitely
weird
is a
time.
stressful time.
hmm I know the teachers union, like before the executive order was passed, I know the teachers union in Sarasota was protesting against reopening in August. They're like,
Really?
yeah. So the teachers union is like, because a lot of the teachers here are like old or like older people.
Well,
Especially
that's just the community of Sarasota
yeah,
as a
yeah.
whole.
Sarasota itself is like older people. Yeah. A lot of the teachers are also older as well. So the union, they're basically saying how like if we do open up, teachers are going to die and just suffer in general because of it. So now that the executive order is passed, I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do about that. Do you think there could be a
It'd
teacher
be,
strike?
mm, I don't know. I'm thinking about the teachers I know at Pineview, and I think all of them care too much about us to go on strike. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think about all the teachers I've had. I think, and of course, there's a teacher here and there you might not like, but I think one great thing about Pineview is all the teachers do care for their students. So I'd like to think that the teachers care too much about us to hurt us by going on strike. Because us going back to school, I mean, it's definitely not is COVID would is isn't as likely to hurt us as it would be an older person still. That's
Yeah.
fair to say, right?
That is fair to
But then
say.
you have to think about us going home and like I live with my grandma, so
Yeah.
I don't want anything to happen to her if I get in, infected and then infect her. I don't know. I think too a thing about what you're saying is it's gonna be interesting to see if I don't who knows the long term effects of the pandemic. I mean, no one ever expects stuff to go on for this long. What if because of everything happened, it changes the type of people that are applying to be teachers? There's people that if remote learning becomes a more permanent thing, there's
Mm.
people that, are be like, I want to be able to sit at home all day and go on Zoom and just that's it. People
Yeah.
might attract a different kind of people going to be teachers.
That's true, actually. So I think like the biggest validation that Corona has brought is that like online schooling is still school.
Yeah,
It's a very
that's
valid form
actually a
of
really good.
learning. Yeah, and now like,
Before all this happened, I definitely would have considered it to be not so much a valid form. But after
mhm.
having to go through it, I still would ultimately say that being in person is better. But I can't deny that online schooling doesn't get the job done. I work at you know this, but I'll tell all of our loyal listeners. I work at
Mm.
Chick-fil-A on Fruitville. I hear the numbers, I see the news, I talk to people about it. But every day, Brian, there is more people in that Chick-fil-A drive-through.
Oh yeah,
So
I'll tell. Yeah,
it's weird to
absolutely.
correlate in my head that there's all that the pandemic's still happening, even though I still see so many people like out and about.
I
And
agree.
I'll have one car where it'll be a car full of like 20 people, no gloves, no masks, just
Mm.
like doesn't care about anything. Then the next car will be like a mom and her daughter wearing not only masks but also the plastic face covers, hand sanitizer,
Nice.
only open their window like a quarter of an inch and then like
Yeah.
put their hand out and like I give them their food and then they wait for me to walk away. Then they roll their window down the rest of the way and pull it in.
Oh.
So like it really varies from person to person. So there's you got people out there calling the pandemic a conspiracy, saying
Mhm.
the disease is engineered. You have people out there saying that people are stupid for not being safe. You have people just not caring. I mean,
At least right now, there's definitely a spike again. We all know that. And, it's definitely because I think it's definitely because of us young people who are, the COVID parties that you're
going
talking
out and
about.
doing stuff.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
going out and whatnot. And, people don't really care. And I think it all like falls down to like a lack of sympathy. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of people, for example, you live with your grandma. You don't want to get her sick.
Hmm.
I have
Yeah.
asthma. I don't want to get sick. And so like, but there's a lot of people who they don't have either pre-existing conditions or like someone else who's like old or like does, you know what I mean? And they don't really care
Well,
because of that. It doesn't affect them.
no, yeah. I think you're like those people we're talking about that are going to parties and hanging out with people and not even trying at all to take any precautions. It doesn't affect them, so they just don't really care. Which I mean, everyone feels like that sometimes, but
Hmm.
you just got to hope that people are going to try and be compassionate and look out for each other.
Do you think there should be a mask mandate for Florida as a whole?
I like the thing that Sarasota County did, or Sarasota City rather, where
Yeah.
they said if you're over 18. I thought that was. I mean, I'm going to be 18 in a few months, so I don't think it's hypocritical of me to say because if I was over 18, I would definitely wear. I I don't know. I guess I think it's. I definitely think that there's that the older people that are
Hmm.
more susceptible should definitely be wearing masks,
Yeah.
if anything, to protect themselves.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I'm very much the only thing about a mask mandate is I don't like the government telling me what to do.
I agree with you. I don't like the
So
government
that's the
telling me what
one
to do
right
either.
reason while I think that everyone should be wearing a mask because I think that's the best way to stay safe and to keep everything going. I
Yes.
don't like the idea of the government being able to say everyone has to do this or you're in trouble, you know?
I agree with you. I don't like government as a whole. I'm not libertarian though.
Okay.
I will tell you that I'm not libertarian, but I'm not a fan of the government telling you what you can and can't do. But what I will say though is that I'm very much in favor of a statewide mask mandate. And I think the reason why Ron is like holding off so much on like doing one is for, more political reasons, which is very upsetting how like politics and the coronavirus are like so intermingled
It's
with each other.
insane to me how quick it happened too. I mean, it became such a political thing so quick and it just continues to get more and more political, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, it does, and it's that's really upsetting about the whole situation. Like, is it a coincidence that the states who that are reopening sooner are getting spikes in cases, and is it a coincidence that those states are also red? I don't know. Probably. I'm not one to say so though. But yeah, it is upsetting though, and I think that's again going back to my first thing I was saying that I don't think Ron. I think if there were no politics involved, then Ron would have mandated the face masks a long time ago. And it's for like the safety of everyone too. Like I agree, I don't like the government saying what you can and can't do, but in this case, it's like when does public health become a bigger
I
priority?
guess, but I just wish people cared enough about each other to just do it on
Mm,
their own, you know?
yes, I feel the same. Is that like? Do you think that like has to do with like American culture as a whole?
Ooh.
I know it's pretty
Uh,
deep.
I mean, there's definitely. I love America. I love everything about America. I'll
I
always love
agree.
America. I think it's the greatest place in the world. I think there's,
Yes.
but like anything, I definitely think there's issues, and I definitely think there's a concept of being American about only caring about yourself sometimes, which I
Mm.
don't think is fair to say about everyone, but I definitely think it's an element of America, of being an American that
Well,
sometimes is
yeah, that's like the
okay,
American
but don't care
dream.
about
Like
yourself.
go
Yeah,
out and get it
you're
yourself.
on your you. Well, like I don't know. I definitely have an aspect of life where I look out for myself, I look out for my family, but I still recognize like I wear the mask. It's to protect everyone around me. I don't want to be the reason someone else gets sick, you know? I
Mm.
don't want to I want to help other people. So I just wish I know saying this doesn't accomplish anything, but just sometimes I wish that people could care more about each other. My closing remarks are, Brian, I enjoyed this conversation
I
today.
did as
It gave me
well.
a lot to it gave me a lot to think about.
Mm,
I hope you'll have me on again in the future so we
for
can talk
sure.
about more stuff.
Yeah.
Um I think that it reinforced to me that I want to keep being as careful as possible with Corona, and I want to tell everyone out there to just try and be as healthy and safe as possible. Make sure you're wearing masks. Don't stay 6 feet apart from everyone. Uh, be compassionate about other people. I think definitely. I think that's something that everyone should try and remember.
Mm.
Everyone's just doing their best to live their best life. I hope everyone has a great day, and thank you for listening to the Nuggets podcast.
Yes. Well, thank you for being on, William. I appreciate your time. One. Boom. We're live.
All right. Hi,
Jonathan,
everybody.
David, Alan, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm really good. It's a pleasure having me on this prestigious podcast.
Yeah, of course. So, you know what? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So, I don't know if you saw this, but this it just happened yesterday
Mhm.
in Sarasota. So, with everything going on, like school is like one of the biggest questions right now. Like, what's going to happen with school?
Right.
And so, did you get the survey
I
about?
did.
Yeah, what'd you put actually?
I put option 2 because I feel like option 1 is like a non-option. Like I really think that if we're gonna do anything with like an ounce of thinking, option 1 just is not possible. Like just going back to school normally, and then
Yeah,
option 3 would like unenroll us from Pineview and enroll us into FLVS, which is like not what we want at
yeah.
all.
Option
That's
three
a
was
terrible
so
option 2.
cringe. I don't know who thought of option three, to be honest.
Yeah,
But like some people actually put it down, which like amazes me.
from Pineview,
I don't know about from Pineview, but like from Sarasota County in general.
I can see why people might do that from Sarasota County if they don't really like we go to Pineview, we're gonna want to be enrolled in Pineview, obviously. If you're like, actively like participating in Pineview's culture or whatever, you're gonna
Yeah,
want to be enrolled. You don't want to be enrolled in FLVS, but say you're going to like some other high school and it doesn't really matter to you. You might want to do that. That's fair. But
yeah.
like,
Mhm.
I honestly could not imagine a Pineview student like choosing option 3. Like, why would you just want to give up on Pineview and then just do FLVS?
That's
When you,
true. I mean, like, I guess one thing is like, cause like we're seniors. I guess some people might think like it's just a chill year.
it is, from what I've heard too. Like, again, every FLVS class is easy, but
Yeah,
I chose option 2 just because like that's essentially what we've been doing, like right at the end of the year, where you just do
yeah.
remembrances.
Option two is what we've been working with pretty much. So actually, when I was going through the survey, I picked option one to go back to school. But honestly, like now that I'm seeing everything, like during that time when we got the survey, that's when we really started seeing cases rising in Florida. And
Yeah.
honestly, I was kind of like, it'll probably be better by then. But going off of like what we're seeing now, I don't think it will be.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know. Like school's in a little over a month.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, okay, I don't know
10,000
what's gonna be.
cases down to like a safe number in a month sounds like it's gonna
We
take a
got
minute.
11,000 in a day, like
Did
last week.
we?
Yeah. So that was
That's
like,
sad. That's
woo!
sad.
And actually, this was just today, but Florida has currently hit 200,000 total cases. So the results of the survey came out.
Oh, did they?
And yeah. So they released the results of the survey. And currently, the Sarasota Teacher Union is actually fighting the school board. So the results of the survey basically said that like 74% of people want to go back to campus.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah,
Like
74.
option 1?
Yeah, option one. So, and I believe it was like 22% or whatever said that they want to keep things online, like Zoom and whatnot. And the other people want to go to SVA, so let them do their thing.
Yeah.
um, well, the teachers union's like really, really upset about this, right? And they're specifically saying how like if we bring teachers back, teachers will actually die if we go
Yeah.
back. And then so now they're trying to like I don't know if they're trying to like make it so we aren't going back to school, but I just know they at least don't want us to like go back.
Right. I kind of agree with that, and I'm actually like hearing. That this is the first time I've heard like the result of the survey.
Yeah.
74% for option one, and that's a little concerning, honestly, to me.
Yeah, but you got to think like, did you do the survey yourself?
I talked about it with my mom, and then
Okay.
I submitted myself.
Yeah, because it was like because the survey was designed for the parents to fill out. So I'm not
Mhm.
exactly sure if like the students really know. I would assume parents would talk to their students about it, but
I would hope
you
so.
never
Yeah,
really know like, here.
that is true.
Um yeah, so like the teachers are fighting against it, and there was actually a principal, I believe, a principal of some like elementary school here who actually got corona recently and is in the hospital
I've
from like
heard
the
about
school
that.
event. Yeah, did you hear
I've heard
about
about
that?
that. Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what's crazy? My brother, one
Zach.
of- Zach, yes, Zach
Zach.
Allen.
Zach Alley.
One of his coworkers, who's also on his football team for like Venice High School, like he got it and he tested positive, and he came, like literally my brother like drank a chocolate milk from like this guy, and
No.
yeah, we just tested him like 2 days ago,
Okay.
but it's been like 12 days since that happened, and he's showing like no symptoms, so I'm like fingers crossed it's negative and that he's like not asymptomatic and
Yeah.
like slowly spreading to us. I don't know. I'm gonna. I don't know
I
what's gonna happen if
we're
he
gonna have to like drop
shows up
Zach if he
positive.
like gets positive.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
we're gonna have to like
Yes.
leave him behind in the dust. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting that if he tests positive, I'll probably have to go and get tested myself, which I don't. I don't really want to do because like those lines are like long. It's hot in the sun.
Yeah. So actually, like me and my family, we literally got tested yesterday.
Oh, did you?
So where did you guys get tested?
I
Where did
think
you
my
guys live?
little brother got tested at UTC,
UTC. Okay, yeah, because
somewhere like
that's where
that.
we went as well.
Okay.
So we went there yesterday, and we waited about like 2.5, like almost 3 hours in
Shit.
line. And but like the testing itself was like incredibly fast. Like they just like stick like the giant like swab up your nose, and that's
Oh,
about it.
really? Okay, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not that uncomfortable or anything. It's just really, really long. And also the National Guard was there,
Oh,
which was
wow.
interesting. Yeah. And so, it was nice to see though that there's so many people who are getting tested. I'm not sure
True.
if it just happened to be that day. But I think more people in Sarasota are
I'm
starting to
glad
get
people are
tested.
getting tested. I'm glad that they're concerned about all of that. I'm just hoping that they take like the appropriate actions necessary if they do test positive and like warn people and like self-isolate. Like I'm hoping they take that next step and make sure they're not spreading it to everybody. Because I don't know, the way I see it, like I'm doing the best I can to like stop the spread by wearing a mask at work and outside and stuff like that. Because if I like bench like a breadwinner for like a family, when jobs are so scarce, like that's just a terrible thing, and I don't want to inflict that upon anybody.
Yeah. Actually, what's work like for you? Is it like any like what differences are there now?
Really, it's just that like we all wear masks, and
Yeah.
we in the beginning we did like a lot more like routine like wiping down with like antibacterial wipes, and then we kind of like laxed off on it for a bit, which concerned me a bit, but I think we're getting back on that now.
Okay, that's
um
good.
Yeah, and we also like just recently we've put like hand sanitizers near like the POSs. So like when people go in to like put in their PIN for like their credit card or something, you can just pump it a bit and then wipe down their hands before they touch the keypad.
Gotcha.
Um, but like we have like little dots on the stores to say like like 6 feet away, like when you're in line for a register, stuff like that. But I know we don't really have any you know how Publix has like those things where it's like aisles only go certain directions and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We don't have
Mhm.
those, but I think it's just because our aisles are kind of short. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, like Publix is like laid out differently than Target. Target's
That's what I'm
much more
saying.
open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. So I guess we can kind of like get away with it, like with that. But yeah, no, I see a lot of people not wearing masks coming like when I'm
Really.
working with like, visitors. Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know why. It's mostly like younger people and adults in their 30s around that. Like a lot of old people are wearing their PPEs, but not the younger crowd, which
Hmm.
still is a bit concerning to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that was actually something Ron, the governor, was talking about. So,
Oh my god.
did you hear that in like his
Yeah,
speech?
he didn't he say like I can't control what young people do.
Yeah, but like he also added on to that. He was like, "Oh, everyone getting infected is just the young people, so they'll survive. It's fine."
Yeah, but like that's such a short-sighted way to like look at it, because we have such
It
like a
is.
large elderly population, and young people are gonna be near the elderly population. Say one elderly person gets infected and brings it back to like the nursing home, and then the whole nursing home has it, and then everybody
Yeah.
dies.
It's
Like,
literally that's like all of Florida because like Florida is so old,
I know,
especially like
right?
Sarasota. Sarasota in particular is really old.
Yeah, no, I think like I don't know. I wouldn't know, but I think maybe one of the reasons why we're having like such tight like case numbers is just because of the amount of like nursing homes we have, and how like that's like close quarters living, and it's a bit hard to like socially distance and like take protective measures
Yeah,
there. So you just like you bring one person in and like it spreads like crazy among older people, which is terrible. We can't have that happen.
yeah, that's true. I'm not exactly. I think for nursing homes, I mean, it depends on the place, but a lot of them are basically like
Right.
barring people from even visiting.
Right.
So
Yeah. So I'm glad they're like taking those steps, but still.
yeah, but like it's caused a lot of like a lot of the people who their parents are like in those nursing homes, they're
Mhm,
getting upset
mhm.
because like we can't visit them, and they try to like pull them out, and
Yeah,
it's a pretty big mess. So
it
I'm not really
is.
sure like what's going on now, but I know there's like a big issue back when like Corona like first started coming around.
I feel like with like high school and stuff like that, like I really don't think we should be going back to campus right now. I think that's like the worst option, personally. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
So did you see like you saw the Sarasota mask mandate, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Did you see my comment
I
on
did
that?
see your comment on
Thank you. All right. I
that.
think it got deleted, but
Yeah. Oh, it got deleted.
yeah. I think my
Oh,
reply. I think my reply got deleted. Like some people were saying, like it's not there. I said like I'm looking at it. I was like, no, it got deleted. I'm like, oh, okay.
oh, that's pretty funny. It makes
Yeah,
sense though, I guess.
it
But like
does.
it's like everyone on the comment section was so stupid.
I know.
Like none of them want to wear masks. It's so weird. But if you read into that mask mandate, it basically says number one, people under 18 don't need to wear masks.
Really?
And yeah, and number two, schools, daycares, all that kind of stuff, you don't need to wear masks for those either. So I think that's one of the reasons why like the
Why?
teachers are so upset. Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't understand
if
that.
if option one is like what we're gonna be doing, which I hope not. Um, does that mean we're just gonna be able to go to school without like any mask and just breathe all over each other and like spread it?
Yeah, unless the school says something about
Uh,
it.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I don't
So,
know. Maybe people might be like, no, like the Sarasota County mandate says that I don't have to wear a mask, and they'll just be able to
and then
bypass it. I hope not.
yeah. Well, we just have to like drop kick those people. So,
Yeah.
so I
So
mean, yeah.
just off the top of your head, I don't know if you know this, but how much is that survey going to affect like how the school board chooses like the way we go back to school?
I don't know, honestly. What I do know though is the teachers union is calling for another survey, just for the teachers.
Okay.
Um, and you got to think though, like basically, like what the board does is like hugely affected by what the parents want to do. And if the parents want to
Right.
go back to school, then they'll probably try to open the schools back up again, which is really unfortunate. But
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
I think it does require what the teachers think and what the students think as well, because there was no student survey, and I wish there
Yeah.
was. It's really sketchy to go straight to the parents because it's the parents are the ones who most likely want to go back to school, back on
Yeah,
open up.
it's not the parents that are going to be going to campus, like it's us.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But like the weird thing is, by us going to school, we're like inherently risking the parents as well.
yeah, that too. I'm still astonished that like 74% voted for option one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I think that's ludicrous. That's
It's
scary. That's
it
really
is.
scary.
It's kind of spooky.
Didn't
So
Trump say like if we like roll back testing, like we'll like see?
yeah, yeah. He was like, the
That
reason why there's so many cases because we're testing.
yeah. The oh my god, like the president has no object permanence. Like it's so
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. And it's really sad because now it's like there's Trump and then there's Biden coming and then there's Kanye.
Yeah, there's Kanye.
There's Kanye.
I
Kanye's
can't
next.
vote. I can't vote. I'm pissed.
Me too.
I can't. Yeah, because I'm too young, but if I
Yeah.
did, Kanye would have my vote. You know,
So actually, the funny thing about
but not
Kanye
really.
is like I believe he like recently came out and he was like, "Oh yeah, I haven't done any of the paperwork yet
Oh,
to
really?
run." Yeah.
That's funny.
So like Kanye is gonna be like 2024.
Any choice over that? Okay. I don't know. I feel like obviously like this election is very like critical if we don't want to see another 4 years of Trump. So obviously,
Mhm.
I would really hope that a lot of these younger kids are like not voting for Kanye and are voting for
Kanye.
like a president who has like a chance of actually getting to office. But um, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kanye 2024, that'd be interesting.
Maybe.
Also, but like right now, like I feel like it's. If you ask me, it's vote blue, please. I'm begging you. Like I don't even like
Yeah.
Biden that much, but you have to
Yeah, me
remember
too.
policy affects people, and the cabinet, like it's not just like the president that determines like the course of how America goes. If we can like put in like Biden, I guess we can maybe have like, all right, thanks for having me here. This has been a pleasure. And of course, like please stay safe, wear your masks, wash your hands, make sure you're not like spreading any coronavirus to like the people around you. Please get tested if you feel like you should, etc., etc. You guys know the drill. Just be safe out there.
And boom, we're live. Angela Ung, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Yeah, of course. So, Angela, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself first? Like
Of
what kind
course.
of experiences you have in Corona, whatever.
Yeah, I'm a rising senior of Pineview School, and I also work as a barista at your local Starbucks. Funny enough, I think we are like the only Starbucks that's open locally right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why is it just you guys?
Um, I don't know. All of our managers and shift supervisors haven't been telling us much. Um, but they've been like mysteriously all closing down, probably because of coronavirus.
Mm.
And we've only been hearing it from other customers saying, "Hey, I came here because the one down at Beneva closed," and we're like, "Oh wow, seriously? That's crazy."
Oh, that's really
Mhm.
weird. I remember back when like Corona like first started, Clever Cup like just stayed open. And I remember like back this is when Florida was like all businesses must close. And Clever Cup was like, nah, dude. And
Nah, in
they
fact, we
stayed
will
open the whole
stay
time.
open.
Yeah, I was like, it was so weird. I remember there's like a Herald Tribune article and it's just like, Clever Cup, what? Clever Cup's like, I'm just vibing. So what's that? Are there like a lot of people at Starbucks actually now?
Yeah, it's been like crazy busy. Like you can always tell when like a Starbucks like closed that day because we get double the business. And it's
Oh.
crazy. Yeah, there's been multiple times where like we realized that a couple Starbucks closed around the area because we get like swarmed with so many people and then have to stay extra late to clean up because we were too busy to clean up during like working hours.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I feel like what's even more crazier is just like the people that we have to deal with like on a day-to-day basis.
Oh,
Because
true.
yeah, a lot of people in Florida are like, why do we have to wear masks? Why are businesses closing?
Oh,
The coronavirus is not real.
yeah. It's a hoax by the Democrats to take Trump from
Definitely.
office.
Of course. Yes, that's definitely it.
So I
But
thought you
like,
guys had to like require masks though.
uh, we do like if you're a partner of Starbucks, you have to wear a mask.
Okay.
And if you are a Starbucks inside Sarasota City, apparently we're not part of Sarasota City, we're part of Sarasota County. But if you're in Sarasota City, you have to wear a mask like at all times when you're outside.
Oh, I thought it was a whole Sarasota County because isn't that what they ruled on?
That's what I wanted, but apparently not. Because I was like doing some research with me and my coworkers because we were like, hey, if someone comes in without a mask, we have to deny them service because we're not wearing one, right?
Yeah.
But then apparently we're not part of Sarasota City. So
That's weird. So I
yeah.
guess the mask mandate doesn't like affect all of Sarasota then, if that's the case.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That's
I was
weird.
really hoping it does because like I would feel more comfortable if more people wore their mask because
Hmm.
Sarasota has a lot of cases right now.
Yeah, Sarasota is like going up by like the hundreds every day. So
Yeah, it's so
yeah,
worrying.
it is very worrying. So like, are there a lot of customers who don't wear masks?
Yeah, I would say about 75% of them don't.
What?
Yeah,
What?
I know.
What?
Yeah, it is really worrying. Um, but I really do like how like Starbucks really like takes care of their partners well. Like for example, we have to wash our hands every half hour, and we have to use special like sanitizing wipes to wipe like the lobby and like around drive to make sure that we don't like mix up the wipes. And when we hand out drinks, we have to put the drinks inside a cup, hand out the cup, and then they pick up the drink and we bring the cup back. That way we don't touch their
Oh,
drink at all.
oh, oh, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of like small things that Starbucks tries to keep their partners safe because they know that their customers don't care. They just want their coffee. They don't care if they have Corona. They don't care if they give Corona. They just want coffee.
Yeah. Are they old? Are they like old people?
We do have a lot of old people, but funny enough, it's the old people that wears masks. Like all the young kids don't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Ron was making a speech like a week ago, and he was like, "Oh, it's all the young people who are getting corona, so they're not gonna die,
Mm-hmm.
so we're okay."
Mm-hmm.
So, are there still like okay? Isn't it like before your Starbucks location like was open? Didn't you guys just have drive through?
Yeah. We only still have like drive through. Like our lobby isn't open. We don't allow people to sit down, but like they can come
Oh, you
in,
don't let people sit down?
order, and then leave. Yeah. We have like a
Okay.
one-way system, so like you can't like go back and then like talk with people. But like
Huh.
one thing that really don't like when we opened up lobby was the fact that despite us barricading the restrooms, people try to move the tables to get in.
Oh my
And
god.
yeah, I've had like I can tell you two stories. One,
Okay.
I wasn't working at this time, but this guy comes in when our lobby wasn't open yet. Like we already had tables barricaded, but you can like come into the store to pick up a mobile order and then leave. He moves through all of the tables, and we're like, sir, stop, please, you can't come in. He ignores us. My manager is working at the moment, by the way. And he walks to the restroom. My manager is like chasing him down, saying, sir, if you don't leave, I will have to call 911. The guy doesn't leave. He goes into the bathroom. So
Oh
Mark
my
calls
god.
911 on this guy. And the guy comes up like, wait, why did you call 911 on me? Like, I didn't know that we weren't allowed to use the restrooms, so this isn't my fault. And we were like,
What?
what? What? Did you not see the tables? Did you not see my manager running you down? Like, you know?
Yeah.
And
What?
then it's crazy. Another thing
Hmm.
was this woman, like, we told this woman that, hey, if you need to really use the restroom, the public's restrooms are open, but ours aren't. So she took both her daughters to stand in front of the tables to make it seem like they were just standing there. And then she tried to move the tables so she could get to the restrooms and have her daughters literally like body protect her so we couldn't see.
What?
Obviously, we saw because like one of my coworkers was like, hey, she's moving the tables. Hey, we should probably tell her that she can't use the restrooms right now. Yeah, I don't know. People really just like don't care about like protection policies and stuff like that. It's crazy.
I don't know if it's Florida or like as a whole, but everyone here is just like there's so many like just people who do like really stupid things.
Oh, I saw on TikTok of like people like I was like stereotyping like Florida girls, and then
Oh
they're like,
yes.
it was just like them like pretending to be a Florida girl, and they're like, yeah, the coronavirus isn't real. It was a hoax made by like the Democrats so that like we would all be scared and stuff like that. And like,
Yes.
and my favorite line from that person was when they said, if I get the coronavirus, I won't get the coronavirus because the coronavirus isn't real. And I was like, oh, that's so funny.
Okay, but like there's so many girls and like guys here who are like who really do act like that. It's so weird. It's so weird
Yeah.
because every time I go into like my Snapchat or my Instagram and I'm just scrolling through and then I see all these like pictures of these girls and guys and like whatever they're at the beach, they're at these other places with like a bunch of people and they're like party beach
Yeah,
day
it's
with
so
the
weird.
girls.
Right? It's just like they try to be like so controversial by like posting stuff like always wear your mask, always stay 6 feet away from each other. I'm like, oh, okay, wow, like good for them. And then I go to their Snapchat and they're like partying with the girls. No one has a mask on. They're all like close up with each other, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
They
They just
really
don't think.
care.
They don't think.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't think. It's all about like,
Yes.
what can I do socially right now that would get me like to be cool? Like I want to do cool things right
Gotta
now.
do cool things.
Oh, the coronavirus? No. The coronavirus isn't cool. Therefore, it can't affect me. I can't catch a coronavirus because it's not cool enough for me.
It's not real.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. We're not gonna get a coronavirus vaccine for like another at least a year.
Yeah.
So like even if it's out there, are people gonna use it?
It's weird to think about it because like the virus, it changes a lot and like it like mutates a lot as well.
Yes. So like Fauci was talking about how the virus is mutating right now. So they're saying the recent development of it is it's basically become more contagious, like it spreads easier, but the severity isn't changing. So you're not more likely to die if you get it.
All right. Well, that's good.
You know, it's just more people are getting it now. And you
Yeah.
know, like Florida's over 200,000 a couple days ago.
Definitely. Yeah.
So it's a big L.
It worries me too because like, yeah, there's a lot of people that like don't get the shots that they need. What is that, like chicken pox? Like, yeah.
There's chicken.
Like I know, like.
What do you mean?
Because like, oh no, it was one disease that like you could only catch it once and you wouldn't catch it again.
Oh yeah, I think that's chicken pox. But
yeah, like I don't.
Yeah, but the thing about chicken pox is that if you get it, like you're not gonna get chicken pox again afterwards, but it can develop later in your life. I forgot what it's called, but there's like a certain disease you can get in like your 60s or something that you can only get if you had chicken pox beforehand.
That's crazy, dude. That scares me.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like.
No, I just think like no one knows what coronavirus really like is. So even if you have it and you're like asymptomatic and like whatever, and like nothing's really like coming out, you don't know what's gonna happen to you later in life.
Oh, yeah, of course, and that's crazy. And not to mention, like, even if you're asymptomatic, like you still have, like, I have friends who have asthma. I have cousins who have asthma.
I have asthma.
Right? Like my uncle has like lung problems, and both my grandparents do because my grandpa smokes. And like
that's a very Asian thing.
Right? It's weird. Yeah. But like just like a lot of like my family has problems that I should probably be wary of even if I am asymptomatic, you know?
Yeah, that's very true. So I hope most people who are asymptomatic are still like staying at home and whatnot.
Yeah, actually, I feel like it's best.
Yeah, you know the mayor of Atlanta actually got tested positive for coronavirus, and she was like, "I'm asymptomatic. I'm so good."
Okay, like if she says so, okay.
Yeah, it's like okay.
Yeah, I find it funny how like Donald Trump is like, coronavirus, it's okay, guys. Like coronavirus isn't real because I will make America great again. And then he and his like little like buddies are getting tested every single day for the coronavirus.
Yeah, they are getting tested every day. Actually, have you been tested?
No, I haven't.
Actually, I got tested a few days ago at the UTC, and when I was there, they had like such a long line, which was like kind of annoying because me and my family, we had to wait about like 2.5, almost like 3 hours to like get tested. But like it's good that so many people are getting tested to begin with. That's a good thing.
Of course, yes. Yeah. Like
and the test is really fast too. It's like 2 seconds.
Is it the blood test or is it like the nose test?
No, yeah, it's the nose test.
Oh, okay, yeah. There was a blood bank near our Starbucks, and me and my coworkers, we were planning to get tested because we would rather have them like take our blood and see like, oh, do you have like the antigens for it, rather than like having like stuff get stuck up our noses, because like I have a really sensitive nose. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel you. It's really not that bad. They just like they put the swab in and like they take it out. It's like 1 second. It's so funny because like you know like that meme. Okay, well like but like this like whenever I think of like Trump versus Biden, it's just like it was like haha Trump bad. And he was like, no, you can't say that, Trump 2020. But it's like Joe and like Joe supporters like Joe Biden is bad, and he was like, we know.
Yeah. I mean, they're right. Like, yeah, like, we know he's bad, but like he's not like Trump bad, you know. So
Yeah, it's pretty funny. We covered pretty much everything.
Swag.
It's very, very swag. Is there anything else you really want to like talk about?
Not much. Yeah, wear your mask, stay 6 feet away from each other, and be careful of Trump supporters. They are scary. And also, your AP exams come out July 15th through 17th.
And with that, we conclude this episode of Nuggets. If you've listened this far, I thank you so much for your support. It really does mean the world to me that you're listening to this podcast and listening to the different voices and perspectives. This month, there will be no tender segment, though I would like to conclude with giving you some further notes on what's developed since this episode has been recorded. For one, it is confirmed that schools will open, and for Sarasota County, that will be on August 31st. All brick and mortar schools will be open, with masks mandated and social distancing enforced. Virtual learning will also be an option. I know that I will be partaking in that personally. And of course, I'll keep you guys updated even more if there's any info coming out on the official Nuggets Podcast Instagram at NuggetsSRQ, which you can follow for more information about the podcast, updates on when episodes will come out, and if you want to be featured, you can also DM me on that account and we can work something out together. With all that being said, I still want to restate what I said at the beginning of this episode, and that would be that it is truly unfortunate how entangled this situation is with the current politics, and that if we want to get over this issue, that we must be united as a people and united as a nation. And to those of you who are following the CDC guidelines, wearing a mask, and doing your best to stay safe out there, I commend you, and I hope you continue doing so to the best of your abilities. And to those who aren't necessarily following the guidelines or not wearing a mask, I hope that by listening to this podcast and listening to this show that it can help you see our reasoning. And honestly, just wear the damn mask. Thank you once again for listening this far. I truly, truly do appreciate your support. And I hope that I'll be able to see you next month with a new episode. I'm your host, Brian Zhang. Stay safe out there, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next episode.